Hello guys, welcome back to On the Verge podcast with me, myself, official lead, and
Carl from On the Verge.
Wicked. So this is the second one we've done, guys. We're going to get straight into it. You guys probably heard about this, the four gentlemen that acquired 160 years between themselves from an evil prowling in broad daylight. Victim has no idea within minutes he will need 24-hour care forever. That's the title of it, yeah? So we're going to get straight into it. A West Yorkshire drugs gang brutally attacked rivals by stabbing, hitting, stomping on them in front of horrified neighbours. Now one victim needs round-the-clock care. Okay. So this is what's happened. These guys have burst through the doors of a property in Grantley Street, Wakefield, on a day in June 2021 before violently attacking Eunice, Abdullah and Abdul Rahman Ibrahim in a revenge attack after Jeremiah was assaulted. Yeah? Leeds Crown Court heard on Friday another terrified person at the address was pushed through a bathroom window with a drain pipe breaking his fall before Eunice and Abdul were attacked and then set upon in a garden. Shocking footage, we're going to get that on the screen, released after they were sentenced, shows the four men calmly walking to the address together, knowing the violent fury they were about to unleash. They were caught on camera afterwards running from the scene to a waiting Seat Ibiza, which was later seen with a white van. Forrester was captured on camera throwing something over a wall towards the river Calder before jumping over it. Sobs and cries of "I love you" echoed throughout the public gallery of the court as all four were handed extended sentences of 40 years made up of 35 years custodial sentence and an extended licence period of 5 years. His Honour, Judge Tom Bayliss, told the men they must serve up to 2/3 of the custodial term in prison before going before the parole board, who will then determine if they are safe to be released. Prosecutor Steve Grattage told the court Abdul Rahman will need lifelong care for his injuries, which included a hematoma, lacerations and stab wounds following the attack. He said he's still in specialist facilities and is living on a limited diet of croissants, milkshakes, as he awaits further surgery. I'm going to go down to the next bit in a minute, but the video's probably still playing of the footage there, guys. But for me, I mean, you know what stands out to me here? "I love you" echoed throughout the public gallery. So that's the parents telling these four young men that they love them. Now, I get it. You're going to stand there, you're going to be crying, you know, your kids have just got 40 years. It's too late. It's too late to tell your son you love him in court now. It's too late to tell him anything. I'm sorry. Intervention, mate. Intervention is what you need to be doing with these kids. As a parent, I'm sorry, yeah, if you don't know that your son's out here running around, or you don't have no inkling of what your son's doing, you're part of the problem. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. Because if my son's running around doing a mad thing, guarantee you one of my friends is going to come to me and say, "Oh, so I'm sure you've seen your son. It's happened. Yo, your son went down so-and-so, you know. Oh, yo, yeah, I had to finger your son." Bro, it happens. If you're not involved, if you're not interventing with your kids, you're part of the problem. I'm sorry. And there's probably parents out there that may have other issues going on in their life. I'm not going to look past that. I'm not going to say, you know, but they're walking around with big zombies and killing people. I mean, I know you're going to have a different thing to say on this. Always will do. But, I mean, am I wrong in what I'm saying?
There's different parts of that, isn't there? Because you're talking about what you've just said there. You've just mentioned that parents are part of the problem. Yeah? Because you're saying if it was your kid, then somebody would come to you and tell you.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I could stop it.
Hold on. But it's already happened.
Yeah, for real.
Do you mean what you're doing is you're saying that every parent should know this information before? Well, I'm not being funny, but if you think about, there's no chance. I would like to think anyway. Mm-hmm. There's not a parent out there that wants their child to go out there and kill somebody and then be locked up. Mm-hmm. So you're saying you're to blame. Well, not. I don't see it because I personally, if I go back in time, my mum was a hard-working woman. Mm-hmm. So she was never to blame for anything that I did or any of the victims of the crimes that I caused. Mm-hmm. So, no. So if
I wouldn't say that they're to blame, but
You did say that though.
Your parents have got to take some blame, bro.
You said that's the
Your parents have got to take some part of the blame. They
Okay.
brought you into this world. They should therefore, like my dad, if my dad ever caught me with anything mad on me, he would batter me, bro. He would lever me.
Hold on a minute. Let me ask you a question then. Because, I know life's changed.
Yeah, it's different now. Allegedly.
Yeah. Life has changed now. But let me ask you, here's a simple one for you. All the beatings that you got, did it stop you?
It has now.
No.
It didn't stop me then.
Right then.
No, it didn't.
Right
It
then.
didn't. It didn't
So
prevent
therefore, if we're using what you've just said, your parents should this and that, and your parents are part of the blame, parents should come in. Your dad, you're saying your dad purposely got involved with you and allegedly did whatever he did to chastise you, yeah?
Yes.
However, it didn't change you, so are you still...
Do you know what it stopped me from
Wait a
doing?
minute, wait a minute, no,
wait.
wait a minute,
Okay.
wait a minute. If you're saying that this is what you said, parents are part of the problem, they should get involved, your dad did. You still went out and committed more stuff and did more things. So you're...
Never.
No. We're still talking about criminal element. That didn't stop you doing what you was doing, right?
Didn't stop me selling drugs.
Right then. So is your dad to blame for that then? There you go.
Partly.
No.
No, partly. I'll tell you why. Because,
Yeah.
all right, listen.
I'm ready for you. Just so we're clear.
All right.
careful,
Circumstances.
be
I know.
careful
All
what
right,
you
no, I know,
say.
because he's probably watching. Listen, circumstances. Yeah, he didn't have the means and funds to give me what I wanted as a kid.
What about? Okay then. Okay.
But that's not necessarily what I actually needed.
Nah,
He
okay.
didn't have the bit to give me what I wanted.
Okay, so what about these single parents out there that don't have a father figure in their life? What about these children that don't have a father figure in their life? What about these people that have got a single parent mother who's working 2-3 jobs, having to get buses from one side of the lease to the other to look after the children?
Then
What about them?
that's where you come involved.
No,
on the Verge.
No, because you're bringing yourself away from it now. No, you're not going to do that. Again, I'm saying, what about these people? What about them?
Again, like I say, it's the environment that
You're
you're
running away
in.
from- no.
I'm going to answer it. I'm going to answer it.
Go on, I'm waiting for this one.
Okay, so for the ones that are single, that are running the jobs, that can't necessarily keep an eye on the children 24/7, intervention programs, outreach stuff, people to talk to your child, people like yourself that are coming into schools and talking to these kids, reach out to them. Don't be afraid. Don't sit at home and say, "Oh, my kid's not listening. I don't know what to do," because there are things out there that may push your child away from that life.
Which costs money though.
Okay, I mean, all right.
And a parent's not going to pay the money because
No, I agree. But then,
Not that I'm saying I'm
for your
expensive.
thing-
I'm just saying.
I know. But for your thing, then, when I say paying, I don't mind. I don't care where it comes from, but it's not necessarily going to come from the parent direct. Is it? It's going to be a charity as such, and that's going to help, and that's going to put you in, or a government.
But you have to understand. But there's certain elements where they have to fall into certain elements of that. SEND, SEMH, EHCPs. There's all those things that they have to fall into. ADHD. There's all these different things that they have to fall in where they would. It's not necessarily just for somebody who is getting in trouble. Now you see it more and more, but again. And that's why I'm actually enjoying these podcasts, because we've literally been not even 10 minutes in and we've already had
the debate.
The debate already. Because there's
But you know what? Sorry, just
because there's a lot of people like you that are out there.
But you know what though? The debates what me and you are having.
People are having them.
Yeah, but it's the parents that should be having these debates.
Hold on a minute, but you have to get parents in a room to do that, and you're going to have parents in a room with the people that are controlling this money and controlling certain elements. That's what you need. And I'm telling you, that these people that are higher up are not meeting at this ground level. It's just not happening. Listen, I'm telling you, I've been doing this a while now, and there is people that will go out there and speak with certain people. I'll give you an example. I'm going to name drop now. So Tracy Brabham, who's the mayor now, she does do that.
Okay.
100% does go out there. I think a lot more can be done. Maybe, she's doing so much work. Yeah, I get that. But my argument is very simple. If we start off with the argument that you had initially, you said parents have to take some form of responsibility. And what it is? I actually understand it to a degree. However,
they can only take so much.
A parent has to turn around at some stage and go, well, what more can I do?
Yeah, for real.
Because look, I'm doing all the right things. Listen, before you get read on, I'm doing all the right things. Feeding them, I'm clothing them, I'm being a mother to them, doing my best for my children. What more can I do? And it's okay, you saying, oh, well, I had my dad and he would do this and he would do that. But at the same
Not
time,
everyone has that.
everybody has that. And not only that, you still continue to do what you did. Because just because you didn't pick up a knife and you didn't pick up a...
But that's what my dad prevented me from. And let me tell you this though. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, my dad always said to me, if you ever think about picking up a weapon, for me first, son, and I will talk you down from using that weapon. Please believe me. You get me? And any time I've thought about doing a mad thing, I'll always phone my dad and say, "Oh, this guy's pissed me off." You know what
though? Because the next one that we're gonna do, there's another one that we're gonna do, which following on from this, which is about drugs and the mother.
Yeah.
And there's victims involved. So we'll leave.
Okay, let's carry on. No. So I'm just going to finish off reading the rest of this case, and what we're going to read about now, it's just going to be the parents and the aftermath of what's happened. So Mr. Grettage said a neuroconsultant psychiatrist said Abdul still has a cognitive impairment and does not know if he is at home or not. He said it is the doctor's opinion that Abdul will never be capable of independent living. He added once he's released from hospital, he will need to be in a care home. Mr. Grettage read out of the victim's personal statement written by Abdul's brother on behalf of his family, in which he said he had plans to work in the Netherlands just before his brother was attacked, but he's now focusing on care and will help his mother with that when he returns home. He said, my mum had heard rumours of 2 Somali men from Leicester in a critical condition. In Leeds, and she tried to call his phone to no avail, and then got a phone call, the worst phone call you could ever get. It was the scream that still haunts me to this day. My mum screamed my name and told me to come down to speak to the detective, to listen and communicate it to her in Somali. I refused to believe it. It was only when we arrived at Leeds General Infirmary to speak to the doctor, we learnt he will never be the same. He was still in a coma then. He eventually woke up but couldn't speak. It was unclear if he even recognised us. When we went to visit, he tried talking, and that was when we realised it wasn't the same Abdul Rahman we knew. Abdul's brother told how he grew together and how he was trying to shield their younger siblings from what happened. He said, he was my big brother. I adored him for many things. He always stuck up for me and stood up to people who took advantage of me. We did everything together, learning to swim, ride bike, PlayStation. He had a whole future ahead of him. It's heartbreaking. The man described Abdul as his biggest supporter and told how he has promised his mother he will take care of him. There is days she's no longer here. There is days that she is no longer here. There is a day she's no longer here. Right. Let me read it. My writing's buggered. He promised his mother he will take care of him even if there is a day she's no longer here. That's what I was meant to say. The court heard that Eunice was not made a statement further to the one he initially made to the police, but it is known he suffered multiple injuries including stab wounds. And then mitigating officer for one of the suspects, the mitigating officer is Robert Stevenson, said he had no previous convictions before being convicted of 2 counts of attempted murder, attempting to inflict grievous bodily harm alongside his co-defendants, which is the other 2 gentlemen who pleaded guilty. I say gentlemen, the other 2 men who pleaded guilty to the affray charge during the trial. Mr. Stevenson said the father of 2, now 30, was 26 at the time of the offence, and has not offended since. He said a number of positive and glowing references had been handed to the court. The barrister added, it is clear there is a side to the Denzel Patrick, I'm going to say his name, that is completely different to the one who showed itself on the day in question. The references are all from reasonable sources who have known him for many years. Most of them since childhood, is described as an extremely kind, compassionate, dependable and hard-working. For Forrester, Alistair Campbell said he had been in a bail in the Wakefield area since his arrest and had not reoffended. Mitigating for Isaiah Anderson, Mark Robinson said he's a young man still. He was 23 at the time of the commission of the offence and is now 26. The age of when he is likely to be released It is fair to say he will be at least in his 40s and will be a middle-aged man. Yeah? He was and is remorseful about what he has done. He was the first to plead guilty to the Section 18 offence during the close of the prosecution case. He's gone on to express remorse and his apologies. It was out of character. Nothing like that has ever happened before. The court heard a number of references had also been handed to the court for him. For Jeremiah Anderson, Matthew Harding said the partner and mother had attended court to support him. He said there has been no further offending. An explanation for that is that this was entirely out of character. There are character references, and authors speak of a very different person to what happened that day in 2021. They speak of a level-headed individual that's with a calm temperament. The court heard Anderson had raised funds for charities including Cancer Research UK and the British Heart Foundation. Mr. Harding said this offending was born out of particular circumstances. Whatever went on that day, terrible mistakes were made, and others will have to live with those mistakes as well. Yeah, I'm going to read this last bit, one sec. Judge Bailey said the four had gone to the property with the intention of to obtain or retain the upper hand, and said the catalyst for the attacks was the assault on Jeremiah Anderson. And he said the purpose of your attack was to punish those you believed were responsible for that and your commercial interest in stopping them pursuing activities in West Yorkshire. It led to you to try and kill these two men. Right, I'm going to stop it there for a second. So, what we're getting from this now is Jeremiah's been attacked. The two kids from Leicester that are in the same area in Wakefield selling drugs.
Is it in Wakefield?
Yeah, it's in Wakefield. Yeah, it's in Wakefield.
Okay.
So these two kids from Leicester, they've put an attack on Jeremiah to stop him from selling drugs there.
Okay.
Jeremiah's come back with his gang and attacked them two. The other two have ended up worse off. But the whole thing of this and the whole reason why we're having these chats for me is look what you're getting yourself into. Look what you've got to do now. All because you want to make some illegal money, yeah? And I'm going to put it out there. It's just straight. I've been there. I've done that, yeah? You now have to defend yourself with these weapons because it's not like back in the day when I was on road. Man weren't running around with big zombie knives, yeah? We were using these. Or 10 man had come to rush you and broke you up, yeah? So you have to get off. Now, this is the problem. These kids are running around with knives because I'm not saying they can't fight. I don't know these kids. I don't know who can and can't fight. But, like, where are we going with this, guys? Are you going to just keep doing this mad thing?
Okay. So, the difference is you're saying, and again, you're saying, one, we don't know what's gone on. We don't know what.
We're just reading from what
you're just reading.
Yeah.
So you don't know if it was over whatever. What we do know is facts is that he was jumped first.
Yes.
And again, you go back in time and you say, yeah, these kids are running around with zombie knives. In our day, he'd come round and broke. Still a criminal offence. It would still be classed as a fray.
Yes.
Because just because you give somebody a kicking, they can still die.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's some people that get punched once, fall down,
dead. Do
you know what I mean? So there's that side of it. I think for me, some of the things like. I feel sorry for the do you know one of the things that you've got to look at as well is the thing called the ripple effect. So you have to understand the crime that's taken place is where the young person is, the guy's now lifelong injuries. You know what I mean? And they've jumped him. So there's the pebble. So the first one is where these two have jumped this young guy here. That's the stone being dropped in the water. Yeah. As the ripple comes further out now, they go back and they revenge. There's a revenge attack on this guy. On the two brothers. Then you go in again. So now he's long-term injury. So now it's going to affect the mother and his other brother because now he has to look after him. And then also you got the brother there who actually was a witness to it all as well. There's all his younger siblings that they said he's got. Then you got to understand, and a lot of people want to hear it, but even the perpetrators, there's their family members that are also feeling this.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So it's never... And I need to make something clear to these young people as well, if you are watching. One of the key things you have to remember, and please believe me, I've been there. When you're doing all these things and you're trying to gain this reputation of I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm the other. What you have to understand is when you go to jail, especially for the sentence that they've got, yeah, which is a minimum of 35 years before they go for parole, or 40 years, please believe me, most of these people have forgotten you.
Yep.
Because years ago there used to be a saying, today's news is tomorrow's chip paper. You know what I mean? You can't use
Today's
newspapers
news is tomorrow's internet paper.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Same.
other than that, when you think about it, by the time they get out, people will have forgotten them. The world will have moved on so much in the side. I mean, he's 26. By the time he comes out, he's going to be a middle-aged man. Now, I don't know if he's got children in particular.
One of them has a head.
Yeah. 2 kids, I think. One of them's got. But you think about this one. By the time by the time that person gets out, who's got the 2 kids, he actually could come out being a grandfather.
It's a sad reality of it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
That's
Like,
the sad
and
reality.
everybody wants this reputation, the clout chase, and this, that. And look, believe it or not,
I understand it.
I understand it.
I get it.
However, what I'm saying is,
are you willing to lick somebody down and bro, like that?
You know what?
Is beyond me.
The worst thing that, for me, and when I'm speaking with kids, especially with people that are getting involved,
do you know what though?
gangs,
Sorry for cutting you. Just 1 second, just before you get into that. Do you know if you? I don't want to say. I'm just going to say Manchester because it's called Gunchester, and there's a lot going on there. Like there's some things that are the deep rooted, very deep rooted beefs. Yeah, you see in Leeds, there is deep rooted beefs, but there's not as many as other cities. Do you get what I'm saying? So anything that these youths are causing and they're doing is new shit, bro.
Yeah, listen,
It's new shit.
yeah, well, because the problem you're gonna have, which is always because you've cut me now and I forgot what I was gonna say.
Sorry, my bad.
The issue, especially, we'll skip on to these deep rooted beefs. Listen, I've been out in clubs, and I know that a certain man have done whatever, and somebody's died part of the thing, and these people are all in the same club together, and nothing's kicking off. Like, it's absolutely mad.
Yeah, just tension.
Yeah, there's just tension, but nothing's happening. You're thinking, it's not
When
real
is it
beef
gonna
then.
happen? Yeah.
It's not real beef.
Yeah.
But in fact, I remember what I was going to say now. So you got to look at this is one of the things that I use, and I say to kids that are getting involved in this, because if they go to jail, they're going to get 30-year rec or life with a certain rec. You got to hope and pray that whilst you're in prison, your mother and father don't die. Because by the time you get out, the chances are your parents could be dead. Your grandparents more likely are going to be dead.
Yeah.
So depending on your relationship that you're going to have with them, is you better just, all you can do is hope and pray that they are still here.
So, yeah, I mean, there's not much more we can digest on that one there. Do you know what I mean? It's self-explanatory. We've delved in to the sections that we need to talk about. We're not necessarily talking about the crime. We're not judging anybody for what they're doing in life, because I've been there, I've sold drugs, and I know what it's about. But we're just trying to give you a bit of direction. Like, okay, Jeremiah got attacked. Did it really warrant the fact that you take 3 of your friends back there? Do the mad thing.
You know what though? Sometimes
I can understand the anger.
you've got to show face, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've got to show face, like, especially for somebody like him that's young and listening to his elders, but then your elders aren't doing anything about it. Then you would start thinking to yourself.
Yeah.
And so I suppose it's
I can understand it.
Yeah. It's a situation.
No. I can't understand it. I can overstand it. That's the word I need to use, because really and truly, as a man at 39 now, I can't understand it. But at your age, lads, I probably could at the time. I get why you did it, and I get where you were coming from. But if there's anybody else out there watching now that's in a similar position, or that feels like they want to go out and do the mad thing, just think about your people around you, bro, or sis, you know, because there's some serious women out there as well. These younger generation, like, they're all on it.
I just think for me that I think one of the key things you have to understand is it boils down to losing your temper. My argument will always be the same. If you lose your temper with somebody, then you actually give control to them. Whereas if you stay calm and you think properly, then you're in control of yourself. As soon as you lose your temper and you react, then straight away you're actually giving that power to somebody else.
Yes.
So just go through life holding on to your own power, because really and truly, if you hold on to your own power, no one can disturb you.
Simple.
So that's
And I think we can end it on that. The next one we're going to get onto now. It's a bit. I mean, to a police officer, it means a lot. To me, it don't mean much to me, but I want to comment on it because I think it's petty. So I'll start now. The memorial to PC Ian Broadhurst, who was killed on Boxing Day 2003, was one of two vandalised in the city. It's called Vandal Attacks, two separate memorials to murdered Leeds police officers with black paint. So someone's defaced. Excuse me, sorry. Someone's defaced a... Sorry guys, that's the dog. Somebody's defaced, what do you call them? A plaque. Memorial, sorry. It's a memorial. It's not even a plaque, it's a memorial, isn't it? So, memorials to two murdered police officers have been vandalised in Leeds, with the police condemning the act as disgusting. West Yorkshire Police say at 6:43 p.m. on Saturday, January 25th, they received a report relating to the memorial to PC Ian Broadhurst, which is PC Broadhurst, was shot and killed on Dib Lane on Boxing Day 2003. I remember that as well because I got family that live close to there. The memorial has been damaged with wreaths and flowers laid at the site, strewn about, and black paint sprayed on the memorial stone itself. The police say this took place between 6:10 and 6:20. Then at 9:05 a.m. on Sunday, the police were made aware of a similar attack at the memorial to Sergeant John Speed, who was shot and killed on Kirkgate, Leeds city centre on the October the 31st, 1984. I don't remember that, I wasn't alive. Black paint has also been sprayed on his memorial at around 1 a.m. in the morning. The police believe, taking into account the timings and similarities in damage, the attacks are linked.
Not much else you can say on that.
No, it's just about the district commander, letting them know how they feel. I mean, for me, I'll go first. Fuck Fed, no, I'm joking. I'm joking, it's not even a laughing matter. But you know what? Like, seriously, it's petty, man. It's petty. I mean, one of them died in 84. Who the fuck's still alive to even hate this guy?
Without the swearing.
Sorry, I apologise. Who is still alive to even hate this guy? Like, that's just a police thing, innit? Like, someone's hit the police and they've got him, they've got a frigate, will annoy him, do you know what I mean? And then even for the other guy in 2003.
Yeah, but can I just say, although you might be saying annoy him, you're not... I wouldn't necessarily say that you're annoying the police.
No, you're not.
Do you know what I mean? You have to understand the memorial's there because.
But again, you probably will be.
But there's a possible, but he's annoying the family members to him.
More than anything.
Yeah, the police officers' grandchildren, children, family, and wives, or whatever it might be. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're the people that are going to be more annoyed about it. I think the police would be annoyed as well. But like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand.
I don't get it.
Yeah, do you know, if you're doing that, then okay, yeah, you've done that.
Yeah,
all right, but I don't understand what you got from that. And not only that, there's areas throughout Leeds where you can actually, if you want to go spray something or paint, there's actually places within Leeds where you've got certain areas where you can actually go and spray painting and do that. If that's what you want to be, maybe you want to be.
My dad used to be a graffiti cleaner.
Maybe you want to be an upcoming artist of some type. Then listen, go do that. Don't decimate someone's memorial. Like,
whether it's a police officer. Right?
Yeah, it doesn't. Because if I'm honest with you, if you look at a memorial, yeah, you may as well go to the gravestone. Because it's the same thing. The only difference is that saying the spot of where it happened, and then they're buried in the cemetery. Or it could be cremated, but do you know what I mean? I think what you've done, I think, yeah, there's going to be a bit of age and X, Y, and Z. I mean, the 1984 one, I can't see anybody being alive to do that who would remember it. So that's my view. The one on Dib Lane, I remember that. But again, I don't see the point in what you've done. Yeah. I don't see the point in what you've done.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So that means it must have been defaced on Dib Lane then.
Yeah.
So they've done Dib Lane and then they've done Leeds Town Centre.
So that's why they're saying it's linked.
Who do you think would have done something like that? I mean, obviously we're not fucking investigators, but for me, somebody that's done that, they have just come out of a police station, an officer has really peeved them off.
Yeah, but you got to look at it.
It's got to be.
Yeah, but all right then.
Some chief executive. Well, like what?
Wait.
What? Who's reading out there?
But
What was the
wait a
name of
minute.
him?
But wait a minute. Look,
District Commander, Chief Superintendent.
Yeah, but just
has
because
pissed somebody off.
Yeah, but so what?
Yeah, it's not right. But, I'm just trying to work out who's done it.
Yeah, but even that. So what you've done is one, because I can't tell you the one that's in town. Yeah, I can't tell you where it is.
I could.
I've been going town years. I don't know where that is. The Dib Lane one, I know where that is, but I don't know where the other one is. So you're saying some young person has come out of a police station, and then searched the internet to go and deface it.
Yeah, it's mad.
It makes no sense. I don't know. Again, I just think, like, why would you want to do that? Definitely. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't. Yes, do I believe years ago when we was younger, you write your name somewhere and tag your name? Yeah. And I never defaced anything. So on this instant here, I can't actually relate to any.
For the guy in town, it says here, yeah, he who was murdered in the line of duty and made the ultimate sacrifice while attempting to protect the public from armed and dangerous offenders. Okay, so like you say again, like 84, like who's going to be alive now to even know this about this case?
Do you know what it is? I think personally, there's bad in all. Yeah. So whether it's a teacher, police officer, solicitor, whoever it is, there's bad. You can find bad in everyone. Is there certain things that have been said about the police? Yes. Have they been said at the racial institution? Yes. You can go back in time and talk about racism and how things have been protected. 100%. I get that. But what I will say is the same for anything. Where it could be a builder. I mean, you've met builders when you was doing your other thing where they are racist. I'm saying there is people. Is the people that go above and beyond in the duties? Yes, there is. Is the people that are corrupted within the duties? Yes, there is. There's quite a famous group of police officers that was caught.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So my argument to that is, my view now, when I see a police car on the road, when you're active, the police car on the road, you're watching them all the time. You're like, oh, what? But you see, like now, I look at, when I see a police car, it's just another car on the road. You know why? Because I've got my tax, my insurance, everything else.
Yeah.
And I keep saying the same thing. People say to me all the time, oh yeah, I saw you the other day, blah, blah, blah. And I say the same thing. Look, my head is straight as I'm driving. The only time I look left and right is if I come to a junction.
For real.
Other than that, I don't see anybody. And it's the same.
Beat me the other day, I won't even look
it's the same as the police. Like the only people that have a hatred for the police, unless they've done something to you, X, Y, and Z, or they've done something to your family member, yes. I can see it.
That's where I think it's happened.
Yeah, but my argument to that is, if there's a police, you can't have hatred towards the police. You can't have it naturally. Yeah, because the only way you can is if you are criminal. If you are a criminal, you're criminally minded, and you're going, I don't like them. But that's only because you're doing something wrong. That's the only reason why you would not like a police officer. I'm not saying you've got to go out there and shake hands.
Of course.
Like, think about it. Because I'm telling you now, there's all these people out there that go on like the bad man and this, that, and the other. Of course they are. There's some people that are.
Yeah.
But if a crime is committed towards your family, yeah, and you can't sort it, you would want somebody there to deal with that crime.
I.e., the police.
Yeah. That's what you would want. You want justice. And I understand people that are God-fearing people. I understand those kind of people who may not want anything to happen. But what I'm saying is the police are there for a reason. The same way, so is the fire brigade. So is the ambulance service.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all there for a purpose. Yes, we have to pay towards that. I get it. Education, teachers, honestly. And is there bad in all of them? Yeah, of course he is. But that doesn't mean I am. No. I mean, you see some things where some kids there's a fire going on and kids are stolen the fire brigade, and you think, like, what if someone's dying there?
Trust me, again, but it's I think it's just small-minded and petty people, isn't it?
For the memorial thing, yeah, 100%.
It's got to be a small-minded petty.
I don't. You get, you know, some things you go, yeah, I get it, or I can give you a reason why they might have done it.
I don't
With this one, yeah, you get nothing from me on that one.
For real, it's true.
I don't understand it.
Listen, I want to go on to this next one, yeah.
So, final one.
Yes, final one. How long have we done so far now? Then we've done about half an hour, haven't we?
Yeah,
35. So we're getting another 10-15 out of this one easily. we might find another one. You never know. While we're sliding through this Leeds Live, we've got a few down the side here.
Can we be nice to this person?
Can we fuck? Sorry, pardon my language. Can we? A62 Huddersfield crash, lives on a road, blocked. Anyway, so this is the one we're going to get into now. Low life son, low life. Edie Ball. Frog marches elderly mum to an ATM in the middle of the night to rinse her pension. Sorry, mate. We can't go easy on this guy. His picture's on the screen right now.
If I decide to.
No, it's going up. If you don't put it up, I'll put it up on the shorts, mate. Anyway, Robin Ray has been jailed. Let's read into it. A Wakefield man frog marches elderly mother to a cash point to withdraw money to pay for his drugs. Waste, man. Robin Ray, 48, emotionally blackmailed his 84-year-old mum, telling her he would take his own life. Well, I hope no one does that on here. Like that's serious. I wouldn't expect him to do that. However, he said he'd do that if she refused to give him money. He's now been put behind bars for 21 months after admitting harassment without violence and engaging in controlling or coercive behaviour in an intimate or family relationship. Leeds Crown Court heard on Monday that Ray of Kent, Churchill Drive, Horbury, pressured his mother on a number of occasions to give him money. Prosecutor Emily Thorpe Johnson told the court the defendant at the time had a bedroom at her address and was living between hers and various other addresses with friends. The defendant was a drug user, and at the time that caused him to lose his job. As a result, his behaviour to his mother escalated, and he relied on her for his only source of income. She received a weekly pension, and he would repeatedly ask for money. She ended up giving in to his request. She describes his begging as relentless, and on another time, when he refused, he became nasty and started banging around her home, causing her to feel scared. In the past, he threatened to commit suicide if she didn't give him money. He would ask for her bank card in the middle of the night, and on occasions, he would walk her to the cash machine at night. Oh, mate, this guy's a straight Maggie. She discovered her bank account was empty as a result of getting money out. He asked her repeatedly to get him a loan and said he would use it to deal drugs. You idiot! And would give her the money back within days. Mate, you're smoking all of it. Every bit of it. He suspected she had money hidden around the house and would ask. She said the level of pressure would last all day from 8 in the morning till 9 in the evening. How are you going to beg an 84-year-old woman for fucking 12 hours straight, mate? Anyway, she would often give in just to stop from kicking off or hurting her. The woman said the issues with her son caused her to lose weight. She was also embarrassed to go shopping with family members due to having no money and would have to buy second-hand clothes. In his interview, Ray told police he asked his mother for money on a weekly basis because he was out of work and he had £500 off her in the last year, but denied pressuring her to give him money. Miss Thorpe Johnson added, she said she would sometimes raise her voice when he asked, but it depended on her mood. He denied her ever fearing of him. Of course she feared him, man. The court heard Ray had previous convictions on his record for failing to provide a specimen and failing to surrender to custody. It was said his mother wanted to contact him, but did not want him attending at her address and having contact that way. Mitigating, Christopher Morton told the court she describes her distress at his drug addiction and says it has ruined his life, caused her stress and frustration. She describes him as a good joiner and says she's not scared of him. Bless her, man. And he has not intentionally hurt her. She says she has hit him. She says she has hit him in the face on occasion, but he has never retaliated. He expressed multiple times his remorse at the distress and has caused his mother. He has expressed his intentions to address his problems and said to me that he's just tired of this life. His drug addiction is the root cause of his offending. He hopes to repair his relationship with his mother and those other family members who have turned against him because of what he has done her. His honour judge Crowson jailed Ray for 21 months and told him he will be the subject of a restraining order until further order. All right, now listen, we did this one yesterday. I didn't give the guy any leeway, but you know what? I'm gonna give him a little bit of rating, yeah, on the basis that she's hit him several times and he didn't retaliate, yeah, and she's actually said that. You get me? She actually said that she's hit him several times, and he didn't retaliate. So, on that basis, I'll give him his ratings that he didn't strike back and hit his mother and harm her, but he's still a waste man for fucking frog marching your mum to the fucking bank.
You need to stop swearing.
Sorry.
That's what you need to do.
All right, I apologise. Yeah? So, that's what I'm not giving him ratings for. How are you doing that to your mum at midnight, frog marching her to the bloody bank to get money? That's a waste man thing, bro. Like, and I know y'all gonna have another opinion on it because you want to see the good in everybody, but I can't. Go on. What you saying?
It's not about. Do you know what it is? It's not about seeing the good in everybody. You know, it's not about seeing the good in everybody. It's just giving everybody the opportunity to have a voice.
Yeah, I agree, but it's just. Do you know what? Sorry, his age.
Listen, regardless of age has nothing to do with it. Age has nothing to do with it. Look, clearly the man has issues with drugs. Now, I'm not going to say, look, mother, there's probably other things that's been said within that household where he might turn around and say, listen, I might have to commit crime. And mum's thinking, you know what, the last thing I want is my son to be committing crime and going out.
She said he's a good joiner.
Yeah. So clearly he's been able to work, but then clearly he's lost his job. So he's been able to maintain his own drug addiction. Do you know what I mean? He's been able to maintain it. And again, we always go back to the same thing. Has this person had any help? Because I'd like to think if he had, then he would say, things might be different. Also, I can't. Hopefully, he'll get the help that he needs whilst being. He doesn't say like he's being reoffending or he's a prolific offender. He doesn't say anything like that. So technically, it sounds like it's a one-off.
Ripple effect, what you said.
Yeah, 100%.
What if his mum dies while he's in jail, bro?
Yeah.
She's 84. He's got 21 months to do, bro.
And, well, you look at it this way. Well, think. So let me give you an example. Imagine this now, so this is where the vicious circle would come into this for him. So imagine he's done what he's done, which he's very remorseful for.
Of course, I agree.
He's very remorseful for.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree to
and he wants to build up the bridges with the family.
Same with the other case as well, though.
Yeah.
The other kids were very remorseful.
And he wants to build the bridges now. So imagine this vicious circle now. So he goes to prison, he's remorseful, he knows about all the things. So he's got all this time in there. He wants to fix himself, he wants to sort himself out, maybe go on drug rehabilitation course or get help. Or the 12 steps, or I can't remember what it's called. And then what happens is something happens to his mum whilst he's in prison.
Could put him back on the drugs.
Could put him back round, which then goes back round. He then comes out, his mum's passed away. He then feels guilt because of what's happened to his mum. He then goes back onto drugs. He then does something illegal to get the drugs. He then goes back in jail. That trauma's still there with him because he then feels responsible for what's happened to his mother. Now, my argument to that is, this person needs a chance, because what we can say, and even mother says it, is a simple fact is clearly he's a good guy. He's been a good son to his mother, because there's no evidence to say around say anything's happened. She even says he's a good joiner, so therefore he must be good. The drugs have what turned him to where he's gone, because inevitably it was like his mum was his sole like go-to person. You know what I mean? Yeah, 100%. Most. To be fair, most people, the mum is the go-to person. Do you know what I mean? Some are different. Some have dads, you know. But for him, to be his go-to person, she clearly believed in him. But again, what he does need, I think, like everything else, you read it and you go, scum, doing this to your 84-year-old mother, and look at the age of him. I understand that. And I get where the instance comes from.
Do you know what? No, because last time, remember what I said? Because I was saying, if he was younger, I wouldn't agree with it, but I could more maybe understand it, making mistakes. But I don't know how long he's been on his drugs. And I mean, He's definitely had other trials and tribulations while he's been on drugs.
You don't know that.
Mate, at that age, 48.
You don't know that.
Well,
And it's not like it says he's been a prolific drug user.
yeah.
It doesn't say that. So again, this is... Do you know what we sometimes do?
Overread.
We overread and we try and justify things in his own mind.
Yeah. I can agree on that.
Do you know what I mean?
I can definitely agree
and
on that.
what I'm saying is me personally, you stick to the facts because the facts of the case is very simple. Look, this is what's been said. If these other things would have been said, then yeah, okay, you can read into them, but you can't because there's nothing on there to turn around and say that he's a prolific drug user, that he's a prolific offender. There's nothing like that.
So yeah, well, I mean, you know, this guy's we don't know his history. We don't know how long he's been on the drugs, which is a major key factor of having an opinion. Well, for me, it is because if he just started drugs that year or the last 3-4 years, then yeah, I get it. I understand it. You know, he doesn't know any better. His mum's his provider in a sense. You know, he keeps going back to her and he's shown remorse. It says that he never lifted a hand to her. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like he's trying to harm his mum. He's just trying to feed his fucking habit. Pardon my language.
You know what they don't also speak about in there? You don't know if he's had a failed marriage. You don't know if he's got children. Anything could have happened. Again, just on face value, we can all make assumptions. But again, you've got to look at the things. You don't know what trauma he's gone through. I mean, there's nothing spoken about Dad. That could be a trauma that he never got over. You just don't know. I just think...
Or his dad could have just recently passed.
Yeah. It could be anything. There's nothing that's been said. So for me, I just think, look...
But you know there'll be people... Sorry, go on.
Give him his chance.
You know there'll be people out there that'll say, my dad died last year of drugs.
Yeah, of course there will be.
It's choices. We all wake up with that in life. It's a choice.
Yeah, but can I just say, again, we don't even know what drugs it is.
It's fucking hard drugs. Look at his face, man. He's a baghead. Look at him. Look at his withdrawn. That's either spice or class A. Is what he's on crack cocaine or spice or something. It's got to be. It's got to be, man. Look at his face, man. He's withdrawn. Are you going to put a picture up of him?
Not after the way you describe him.
You don't need a picture, guys. He's a baghead. I shouldn't laugh.
No, you can't say that.
I know. I shouldn't. But I've got no time for him. My auntie's one, and she can go feel up.
And
herself.
again, listen. Look, taking responsibility for people's actions, of course. But what I'm saying is you have openly admitted previously to being a drug dealer.
Yes.
Right. So where does your accountability come into it? And before you start, no. Where does your accountability come into it if that was the thing? If that was somebody that you were selling drugs to? And I know what you're going to do with that. You're going to come with this ignorant, you're going to come with an ignorant argument.
Yes.
I'll tell you your ignorant argument now. Because if it wasn't me, it'd be somebody else. Okay. However.
It's me.
Yeah. It's you. So what I'm saying is he, yeah, he's doing what he's doing to his mother based on buying drugs from you. You would have no sympathy towards that woman.
None of them.
However, you have sympathy towards her now because you're reading it from the perspective of third hand. However, if you was in that situation, you was that. Because you got to think, some of the times the drug dealer might have gone to her house. The drug dealer might have gone to her house to sell him drugs.
No, I would have had sympathy for the mum. I would have done. And that's just me as a person.
So would you have stopped selling him drugs though?
I probably would have done. If I knew that if I know my man's doing that to his mum, I said, nah, bruv, you're not coming to get nothing off me. That's your mum, bruv. She brought you into this world. I probably would genuinely. I swear down, Carla, and that's me being hand on heart, being honest. If I knew the circumstances of how he was getting his money to come and buy something from me, I'd run him. I'd take the money off him. I'd take it off him.
But then you'd go back to his mum and ask for more.
No, because I'd just go give it back to her. If I knew her, if I knew the circumstance.
You wouldn't know the circumstance.
No, I wouldn't give it back to her. It'd be in my pocket probably.
You wouldn't know the circumstance.
No, I wouldn't. That money'd be in my pocket.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But then where does the ripple effects affect you there?
It doesn't affect me, but I can understand where, like,
but you're saying.
But why should it affect me?
Why not though? Is the question I asked. Why shouldn't it?
Because I don't care where you get your money from. I'm a drug dealer, bro.
Even though
no, I'm not now, guys.
even though other people are being harmed,
That's not my problem.
and that's where the ignorance part comes in, then, isn't it?
I get it. Yeah, I do. I get it.
That's where the ignorance part comes in, isn't it?
I can understand
because
that fully.
you've got to think about it this way: if it's not his mother, it's somebody else's mother, or somebody does something, somebody threatens somebody with a knife to get money from them to feed the habit. They might stab somebody to feed the habit, to get the money to feed the habit, to come to you. So not to you now.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
But what I'm saying is so it's a forever thing. It's forever getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me at some stage.
But then, all right, okay then.
Okay.
I can give you a flip side to that.
Go on.
Who's putting these drugs in these cities for us to sell?
Oh, listen.
No, I know we're not going to go there.
Let's not
No, we're not
start
going to go there. But it's a major point.
No,
It is.
No, it's not.
It is, man.
No, it's
you can't
not.
deny it.
No,
It is.
it's not.
It definitely is because.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's stop there. Yeah, we'll stop there.
Go on.
Yeah, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do a fresh one now, talking about what you've just said. So, right, cut. Right.
Yeah, go on, go on.
Right. No, that's cool.
All right, yeah, we'll stop it. Go on.
Right. So, and I think I know where Mo was going with this. We was talking about drug dealers X, Y, and Z, and I think I know where Mo's going to go with it. However, I'm going to let him go there where he's talking about how these drugs are getting into the country, blah blah, or getting onto our streets. So I'm going to let Mo go with that one, and then obviously we'll have our discussion like how we usually have.
Of course.
So we were talking about previously. We were talking about a guy who was matching his mother to blah blah, and I was talking about accountability and responsibility about the drug dealer who's not making the person do it, but he's selling drugs to that person.
So that's therefore going to go.
Yeah, and therefore he's going to do. And I also said about someone getting a knife to rob somebody, a knife point robbery. So therefore you've got victims, trauma again. There's somebody that might stab somebody because of that, which then brings a victim that might need stitches that could possibly die. All to buy drugs from, not you now, but you of them. Yeah. And then off that you were saying, however, but how are these drugs getting in? So yeah, go on.
So my point being here is like, okay, I've took accountability. Sweet, he's buying it from me, he's taking it from his mum. Who's going to take accountability for me being on the streets to earn my money? Obviously, I'm going to take accountability as the person doing it, but how have I got to this position? Why isn't there been any different, something different for me to go into? Why have I had to end up selling drugs to earn the money that I need to move on in life? Like, okay, cool. He's come from another country, it's got to the UK, whatever, well, let's not even get into that. But who the fuck has sent them, sorry for swearing, who has sent them drugs to the UK? Yeah? It's all government based, bro. Everything is from the government, you get me? Like, whether it be the guns, the drugs, you know, they are pumping this stuff into our society. It's inevitable, yeah? So that's where I'm saying, where does the accountability come from then? Like, why are they doing this to us? Why can't they pump some kind of money into the system, into the streets where we get a better start to life instead of just leaving us to run wicked on the streets and then locking us up and sending us to jail?
I mean, there's no doubt that the prison population is overfilled with black or ethnic people. Yeah, I agreed. But it's very much similar to what you see where it is because if you go back in history, you're always able to look at things and relate to it. And then what you do is, because you can relate to it, you then put it to the cause that you're in now, or you put it to the cause that generates the most sense in your mind. So again, we know that in America it was done purposely. The crack cocaine epidemic was done on purpose
yes.
by the CIA with the Black Panthers, X, Y, and Z. So we know that was done on purpose. I personally don't believe, this is me personally, I'm not saying, unless there's proof that comes,
yeah.
And if I do see
we'll
it or read it, we'll express it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and agree with you and say that the government allow the drugs coming. I would not say that. I can't even say about what the government do on other ends. I think there's governments from other countries that may allow it to be shipped out.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is I don't believe that our government is allowing it to come in. Because remember, it's a big word. What you're saying.
I agree.
When you're saying allowing,
I get where you're going with it. And I agree there's not going to be some government official that sat at the fucking UK border force saying, let that in, don't let that in. I get that. But, big but now, yeah? All these top people that are, you know, chief executives that you don't even see, the ones that are just sat in the offices giving the orders that have got the money, they're sat sniffing, bro. They're all on it.
What's that got to do with importation?
Because they're allowing it. They're feeding their own habits.
But that's got nothing to do with importation.
Yeah, but they're sat at the top.
And
they're the ones sniffing.
Okay, but so is the person at the bottom.
Yeah, but same way, the ones... Do you want to...
No.
Okay, so the ones that are at the top, like these big chief execs and that,
Of what? Chief execs of what?
Police chief executives and shit like that,
Also,
bro.
you mean like commanders and police?
Yes.
So you're saying, let's get this right.
And also...
No, because we need to clarify what you're saying. Because I need to clarify what you're saying so I can respond. Or should I say, so I can rebuttal.
Yeah.
You're saying that these commanders that are high up are allowing this because they're sniffing it.
I personally believe that they've got some input.
Okay, let's just clarify something. So...
They might not be sniffing it, they might be profiting from it. They could know that a certain gang in London have just, or in Leeds or Manchester, Birmingham, have just acquired so much of whatever drugs, and they want to interact now. We want part of that. We want part of that because we know how much money you're making. We know how much these pockets are taking down. There's greed at the top, bro.
Listen, I understand. I get what you. Listen, I
You know
see.
what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean. But what I will say is,
You can see what I'm saying.
back in time, I think there was corrupt police officers that was giving information and was getting paid through major.
And
is it still happening now? There's a possibility there is. However, you can't naively sit there and go, these commanders and stuff like that are being like no. And not only that, you still got to understand this is, even if that is, let's just go with your argument.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It runs bigger than that. Because the border force are completely different to the metropolitan police. So it's two completely different elements. I mean, customs and excise is not the police.
No, I get you.
Do you mean?
No,
So
yeah, of course,
when you're saying that, you got to be very careful with statements that you make and make sure you have an argument for your statement.
But I believe that there's people in big positions within the border force.
Oh, you can turn on
within the police force that are pulling strings, that know what the crack is, that know what things are coming into this country. You get me?
You know what? One thing I'm gonna say this, and probably there's not a lot of people know by it, but there will be a certain person. He doesn't watch yet, but he will do. And I know of a police officer that I've met professionally, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Who I've met professionally through a period of time, who has done certain things for things to go back onto the streets. Okay. I know that.
Okay.
That's factual. However, that's to build a bigger picture. So I'm not going to say what was put back on the street.
Yeah, that's irrelevant.
But certain things are put back on the
that.
street, and it's tracked. And it's tracked. Because what they want to do is they're going to say, right, so where's that contact there? Okay, that's the contact here, and there's that contact there, and then he's actually written it all up. So it's into a presentation now where it shows you how it works, how the things was coming in, how they was hidden. But then what they was doing is they was doing little things where they was putting sensors. But what it was a light sensor. So as soon as you open the package, the light sensor would go off, and then they would know where it's been opened now. So these are some of the things that people have. So I understand that part of it. So I understand that there might be drugs that have come through and it's been delivered, and they've intercepted it, and they go, right, okay, carry that on.
Yeah, because I did actually watch one the other day. Actually,
and I do agree with that. However, I don't agree with what you're saying of going, oh, there's these big people that are all up there allowing it through. No, I mean, years ago it was
doable years ago.
No, I think
what I'm getting from what you're saying now is it's not doable, even though it's possible. It's just not as easily done now.
Yeah. I think times have changed so much now. I mean, years ago,
I can agree.
There was a possibility. 20 years ago, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, yes. However, what I'm saying is I don't think now that
You just think now it's just straight criminal behaviour then?
I would say so. I would say so.
I can understand your point, but me personally, I think there's still people higher up in this chain that are involved in this game, bro. I seriously do.
I mean, until somebody comes along and goes X, Y, and Z, then
you're never
yeah.
gonna know.
I just think now there's so many different levels to go through to get to that person. It would be virtually impossible before somebody turns around and goes, "Oh, whoa, this is wrong."
Yeah.
No, and not only that, you have to remember this: the more people you put in the chain because of money, more people are willing to speak. Now, do you know what I mean? Look what happens where.
All right, well, I've got a good question for you.
Go on.
It's still on topic. What do you think about people that, I'll say criminals, that sit at the top and have never been touched?
They've been smart, haven't they?
Okay.
They've been smart.
Very good answer.
Well, they have, haven't they? They've been smart. You know, they've probably had a trusted group of people around them where technically they don't exist.
Do you reckon any of them have police officers involved in there?
I mean, it was renowned before that they did. I don't know so much if they do now, and it depends on your definition of police officers involved.
I think, personally, for you to be the top man and never get bagged, you've got to have some kind of police intel.
Okay, but you got to remember there's a flip side to this as well. So there's a flip side in there, because how do you know that if you're the big wig, that you're not actually giving information to the police, which keeps the police off your back?
There we go. And that's my point.
No.
But look.
Try to entrap me there. Try to entrap me there now.
No, because
No,
what I just said. No, because what I just said now.
Yeah.
Is that's it there in a nutshell, bro. Like, the police allowing my man to do his thing as long as he comes and tells us wagwan.
Not necessarily though.
But that's what it is, isn't it? That's what it is.
It could also be a smart cookie.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you know what I mean? It's like looking at the level of violence. It's like looking at the level of violence of importation. Yeah, you look at the level of violence. The higher it is, the less violence there is. So, as an example, the violence is at low level.
It is.
On the street level. That's where the violence is, where people are getting stabbed and hurt and shot and killed.
Yes.
Wrong. But when you start moving up, less people are getting hurt. Less people are getting hurt. When you move up another ladder, less people are getting hurt, because it doesn't make sense in the person that has the transport, the person that has the means, the person that has the money, and the person has the streets and put it all together. That level of violence doesn't exist because they all work together. And what these young people need to understand is the connect that they've got, and the connection that person's got, and the connection that person's got, always leads back to a few people that are bringing it. It's a select few.
Yeah.
So the beef that you've got with that gang there, and the food that they've got, they're probably getting the food from the same place. Maybe their connect is not there, is different. But as you move up, it's like it's going to move up till it gets to a central point.
Yeah.
So when you're beefing, just remember that the person that's supplying you with the tools and the ammunition and the guns and the drugs, they're all coming from the same place. So again, if you're going back in time and you're talking about what they did in America, then yeah, they was putting things on the streets because they wanted to get rid of people and let them kill each other. It's the same thing here. Not that I'm saying it's the police or the government. I'm just saying that everything that you have is coming from the same source 9 times out of 10.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So these young people need to realise that, look, when you look at it and the gun that came out or the knife that came from there, their people are selling the same ones to your enemies or to your friends or to somebody at the other end of the country. So it's never a situation where it's just, oh yeah, listen, he's with me, he don't deal with nobody else. Well, I can assure you he does. Yeah, my man don't want anybody to know who he is. That's why it's just me that goes check him. Please believe me, when he's done that with you on a Monday, he's doing it with somebody else on a Wednesday. Do you know what I mean?
I've seen it.
It's just the way that you need. It's just the way that it's portrayed to people, because the way it's portrayed to people is less people will then speak amongst each other, and that's how that person stays there for as long as possible. Because all it takes is for him to make one mistake, and that's the whole thing tumbled down.